Welcome once again, viewing several, to my little series I like to call Hands Up, Who Loves a Train Set? Me. So, exciting one for me today because I spotted this. I've never seen one of these before, and I bought this recently. And I had to buy it because, well, look at the box, look at the artwork. It's a lovely Spanish train set from Ibertren. It's N-gauge, and I bought it as an incomplete set, but I've already managed to find the missing pieces on Spanish eBay, so it's all good. So so this is a what they call 3N, and the thing about that is it's a 3-rail, or it's a bit like the Märklin 3-rail system in HO, which has, rather than the third rail, it's got the little studs on the sleepers, and then you have a ski that comes down from the loco that picks the power up from the middle. And I've never seen this in N-gauge before, and when I bought it I didn't know it was 3N. I'd never even heard of it, so yeah, it's a fun and exciting thing. So let's have a look. You can see, if I just lift that up, it says Escala 3N. It's set number 112. That's the I guess the set reference number, and it says here you get a transformer and speed controller, and it can do 125 or 22 or 220. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. So you can see I really like the box and the artwork. So we'll have a look inside the box now. So let's get a look in it. Right, so here we are. You've got this nice branded piece of packing. Now these would normally be under the tray between this polystyrene and the box. This is the instruction. We'll have a look at those maybe later. But this is the set. So first thing to notice is this rather splendid controller here that you get, and it's marked in kilometers per hour rather than power level. It's a switchable each way one. Now when I got this set it was incomplete, but all that were missing when I did it was just 2 of these pieces of track, and I managed to get 2 of them from the Spanish eBay site. Now these are quite hard to get because they are 3-rail, and you can see if I hold it up, 2 rails are common on the outside, and you've got those, you can see those raised bumps. That is the centre rail effectively, and so on the locomotive you've got the similar to the Märklin system where you've got a ski pickup. So the pickups on this loco, that bogie is the pickup, and sorry about my thumb, I scratched a mosquito bite off. And that bogie is the driving bogie, so it's the pickups on that bogie and the drives on that bogie. So you don't get all-wheel pickup and all-wheel drive, but it's N-gauge, so it doesn't really matter so much, especially not in a set like this. So some of this track was extremely filthy. I've given it a clean up, and it's better. I could probably clean it up a bit more, but I wanted to run it and do the video showing it running, so that's what I did. So here's the interesting thing about this is a Renfe class 123 diesel. I noticed I need to glue that in. The horn keeps coming off. But these are and sort of iconic Spanish locomotive. The interesting thing about these is that in real life these are Iberian gauge, so the gauge these run on is like 5'5" something, so much wider than standard gauge. So I don't know, but this is standard N gauge 9mm track, so I can't really, I think it's 1 to 160 this scale as well, so maybe it's not true scale. I think maybe it doesn't make a lot of difference, because I think at 2mm a foot that would probably be, you know, maybe less than a millimetre wider, so it's not something you would probably notice. Now the carriages, the coaches, let's have a look at these. I mean, there's a prototype for these. I think there's plenty of photos of them. I'd never seen them before, but yeah, you can see Renfe, and there's a second class coach, and you get a first class coach as well, like so. Now the wheels are metal. I thought they might short out because they are, but it looks like they've got plastic things in, so you could potentially put these coaches on a normal 2-rail N gauge, I think. Again, we've got this is the I'm assuming is the brake car. Again, it's I mean, these are nice, these are pretty nice coaches. I don't actually know how old this is. I know that they stopped making the 3-rail N gauge not that long ago, maybe 10, 12, 13 years ago, I'm not sure. You get the railer as well, so you get a loop, and this is 6 pieces of track per semicircle, per 180 degrees, so 30 degrees curves, and then you've got these straights as well. Now the thing about these tracks is, not only are they 3-rail, they didn't have any codes on them, so finding them, I got lucky and I got the 2 missing pieces off of Spanish eBay. So these are, the weird thing about them is they're a real nuisance to connect together, and also a bit like in one of the previous episodes we looked at the track from Jouf, made for Playcraft, and the straights, when you put them together, they don't really join up in a circle without some real kind of fettling, and the same was for these. They're a real pain to put together, and then when you get them together, they didn't really want to go in a circle, but it's definitely the right number of pieces, because it tells you here in these instructions. So you get a number of different things to register, and you get various little bits and pieces, but here it tells you what you get. So you can see 12 curved rails, and so there is only 12. I got 10 and I bought 2 more, and you can see the controller's actually got 16-volt AC, so you can operate accessories. Tells you there about putting the track together. It's not as easy as it makes out even in there. So as I say, I don't know what year this is, because I'm unable to find any dates in here. I mean, it sort of looks old, but I don't know whether that was done deliberately. There's no sign of any www addresses in any of the paperwork or on the packaging, so I'm guessing it must be, well, I don't know, mid-noughties probably at the latest. I really don't know, maybe it's older than that. I mean, these look old. I've tried to find out, but I've not really been able to find out exactly how old this set is, but they did stop making the 3-rail, as I say. I think it was 2011 or 12, something like that, so it's no later than that. But given some of the rails are quite tarnished, I've cleaned them up, but as I say, they probably benefit from some further cleaning. So the locomotive itself is very simple. As I say, it's got the pickup on one bogie, it's got the motor on the other one. It was a struggle to get it running, but there's a few little bearings you can oil, and after a bit of coaxing and running in, it runs okay. I run it with a gauge master because when I tested this, it wouldn't give me more than 4 volts. But when you flip it over, you've got a 110 to 220 volt switch. Now it was on the 220, but the switch itself was didn't seem that positive, so I flipped it back and forward a few times, and then I tested it again, and it was giving out the proper voltage. So I refilmed it using this controller, and it actually runs better with this than the Gauge Master, I think. So because of these old type of motors, this was the one it was designed to run with. So yeah, I mean, it was a real task to get this track in a loop, but once it was up, I filmed it. So I'll show you it on the track now. Let's go and do that. Right, here we are then. I'm just going to show I've got this controller working now, so I'm going to refilm this with this controller, because it's probably going to be better to, I think, film the set with that controller. So I'm just going to, I've just set this back up again because I was about to put it away, so apologies for the adjustments. So yeah, let's run it with this controller then. It actually does run better with the controller that came with the set. So there we go. This was a non-runner. This 3-rail track I do not like very much. It's a bit rickety, and you can see it's making the loco kind of jump around quite a bit. It also doesn't seem to conduct electricity that well. Could be the age of it, I don't know. I had to buy 2 bits of replacement for it off of Spanish eBay. I don't know whether, the seller did say the set was incomplete, but it was just 2 curves that I was missing. So I managed to find 2, but it's quite hard to get hold of this 3M track, as they call it. So that's on this controller. That is the full speed. You don't want to go much faster than that on that radius. Let's see how it runs at a sort of moderate speed. Not bad. It's hesitant on some of the bends because I think the radius is tight. I think it will benefit from further cleaning. It's had quite a bit of the Pico track rubber on it. The loco has had some oiling and checking and a bit of grease on the worm gear. It's running. It didn't seem to want to run at all. And this controller seemed to only put out 4 volts, but it's switchable underneath from 220 to 120. So I flipped that switch a few times, and now it seems to be working. Although it was set to 220, I don't think it actually was inside. Wasn't a very positive. Let's try the other way. Yeah, that's. Back the other way. So I think overall this is rather a nice little set. I'll just turn up that light a bit. Getting the right lighting for this is a nightmare in here. That's the best I can do, I'm afraid. And then we'll just wind the speed back up a bit. So yeah, I think this is a nice set. It's very interesting. It's a great addition to the collection. Originally I thought, well, I can put the loco and that on the other layouts, but being a three rail system, no, I don't think any of us could use any of it, because I think the carriages probably have shorting out wheels on two rail systems, I would imagine. I haven't checked that, but if not, then they could be used. But let's slow down. It won't go super slow, I don't think. I think any slower than this, it might. It's struggling because of the curves. Yeah. I mean, that side there, here, that might benefit from a clean, but it might just be the radius. I had a lot of trouble getting the track to run because the fish plates joins are really difficult. The also the three rail system bit in the middle, the little studs, they seem to be in an odd pattern into the corners, and these rails seem to break off and straighten out, making it harder. But also on the inside you can get the the wheel flanges were smacking on the middle kind of studs, so it was a case of having to just move the track pieces around until I got a configuration that was smooth-ish. The other thing is, of course, that this is suffering from a similar issue to the Jouffe track, where when you put the circle in, I mean, this is the correct, it is it's a 30-degree track, it's supposed to be, so it's 6 pieces per half turn, and that's confirmed by the documentation in the box. But the problem is that like the Jouffe track, it just seems to have straightened out over the years, and it's really difficult to make. You couldn't make a circle, but now, because you've got these straight bits, I've managed to kind of feckle it in, and hopefully next time I set it up it will be easier, but who knows. But yes, it's a nice little set, I think. So we'll slow her down and come to a halt. So that is the Ibertren Renfe set. Thank you for watching. Right, back for some final thoughts. And yeah, I didn't know what I was going to get when I got this. I was basically attracted to it by the unusual nature of it and the great box artwork. The fact that it was N gauge, which meant I could probably set it up on this desk here. And I wasn't disappointed. I really like this set. It's really unusual. Like I say, even more than I realised, because it's 3 rail N gauge, and it was a little bit difficult to get running, but I think it's quite an old set. I think it's a fantastic little set. It's very unusual and a really great addition to my collection. I'm probably not going to, it's probably going to stay as it is. I'm probably not going to be able to get this 3N track. But, you know, this one is really just a keeper. I've seen them on Spanish eBay for like €250, but they're in mint condition. I paid considerably less for that. I think I paid about 64 plus a little bit of postage, so it was about 70 quid, which I thought was probably, you know, a fair price given there were bits of track missing, and I originally thought I wasn't going to be able to get those pieces of track, but you know, I was able to, and it runs, and it is a nice little set and a great one, as I say, for my collection. So I hope you like that one, and if you're watching from Spain, you're probably very familiar with all of this, but here in the UK this is quite an unusual set. We do have a lot of German and French and Italian sets here, but very few Spanish sets, so I'm really pleased to get this one. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.